Hi, welcome back. We are here at the Enfield Safe Harbor Warming Center Facebook page to say hello and to introduce you to some of the key people who keep this organization running and helping the community. And today we're here with Lorraine Creedon, who is treasurer of the organization. And I'd just like to say hi and thanks for coming. And I'm so glad that you're here today, Lorraine.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's a good idea, and I'm glad to be here and get some information out to the community.
Yes, and I think it's nice to put a face with the name and to help everyone get to know you. So you've been with the organization for a long time when it was originally Enfield People for People. So can you just tell us quickly how it transformed from Enfield People to People to Enfield Safe Harbor Warming Center?
Sure. I was a member of the board of Enfield People for People, and we had a supportive housing project here in town that didn't go through. And so the organization went dormant. We kept the charter, but we weren't doing any work. And then I joined an organization of churches in the downtown Thompsonville area that were working and doing some community projects and gathering things that were needed by the people of the Thompsonville district as well as Enfield. And one of the things that we decided to do was look into opening a warming center. And so I was part of that group when we started in the fall of 2015 and officially opened for the first time in January of 2016. And then in 2017, what we did was we assumed the charter for the Enfield People for People, which is a 501c3, which is, a not-for-profit, gives us the not-for-profit status, which is great.
That is great that you were able to do that, because I know from experience getting a 501c3 is not easy. I mean, there are a lot of hurdles to jump through, which is important because you want to make sure that everything is ready to go. So I know that you're treasurer, but I'm assuming that you wear a lot of nonprofits, you wear a lot of hats. So tell us what you do in the organization, either day to day or month to month.
Right. Well, as the treasurer, I also run the payroll, which is always fun. And we have a payroll provider, but I still need to collect the hours and make sure we're doing everything illegally.
Illegally?
Not illegally. We're doing everything legally and getting people paid on time, so forth. I also am the chair of the Fundraising Committee, and I'm also an overnight volunteer at the warming center when we're operating out of Holy Trinity.
Oh, wow. So you have a lot of involvement with the organization. So tell me a little bit more about volunteering at the warming center.
The volunteering, the overnight volunteering is really a wonderful experience because you get to meet the guests and you get to interact with them. We work with the paid staff who are really the responsible people, but we get to talk to them. We give out goods that we've received, like sleeping bags, socks, sweatshirts, snacks like nutrition bars and drinks and so forth, which mostly are all donated from the community. So it's really nice. And you do get to talk to the people. We used to even play cards, and have some interaction with them so that it's a little kind of supportive community all of its own.
Right, I bet. And I'm sure with COVID, I mean, in so many areas of our lives, COVID has really had a negative effect. But I imagine in particular with the warming center, must be very difficult to stay connected with the people.
It is, but we are operating we call it the Engagement Center out of the basement of St. Patrick's Church, which is part of St. Penafort Parish, and they have allowed us to use the basement, and that's where we have all our goods that we can hand out to the people. Volunteers this year are putting goods in bags because you can't touch anything, so everything has to go into a plastic bag and be handed out to the people. And then through our agency, they're referred to a shelter program, and they're housed in through the shelter program because you have to have people separated and so forth this year. So it's a different model this year altogether. But we are keeping our people safe and we're keeping them.
Yeah, but you have been able to find services for the people who need it, and continue the mission of the organization. That's great.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, I imagine another challenging part of COVID has been fundraising.
Oh,
I know
fundraising.
that's what you work on. Although I know that I did hear that you just received a grant.
Yes, we did. We received a Walmart grant of $1,500. They're a wonderful organization. They were very generous in helping us understand what we had to do to apply for it. And one of our volunteers, Marjorie, was amazing at sticking to it and getting us through the process and making that happen. We also received a grant from Journey Home, and we'll be able to use that for some very specific items that are needed at the engagement center this year, as well as being delivered to the people in their shelter.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, with grants, you do have to stick with it a little bit. So
yeah.
But besides the grants, so tell me what the model looked like before COVID and sort of how it looks now. How have you changed and pivoted over the course of the year to meet your needs?
Yeah. Before COVID, we operated out of the hall at it just went out of my mind, the Episcopal Church in Hazardville. And they're very gracious to us, allowing us to use the church and use their storage facilities as well. And at that time, we could have 16 people, 13 people plus the staff staying there, and the staff and overnight volunteers. So they would come in, and we had local restaurants that provided a hot meal because we can't cook meals there. We can't cook because we don't have the health code things. But the restaurants would provide hot meals for the guests. We had our snacks and so forth so that they could have things to eat into the time that before they went quiet. We had a quiet time at 11 p.m. And after quiet time, they could get up and get snacks or whatever that they wanted, but they had to be quiet. So we had that. They could stay there all night long. They would come in at 9. They were allowed in at 9, but they had to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes it felt really bad putting them back out in the cold, but a lot of shelters all function that way. You come in at a certain time and you leave at a certain time, but this gave them a good, safe place to stay and be warm for each night. And we would open the beginning of January and close the end of March. So for the coldest months, we were there for them.
Right. So what are some of the fundraisers that you've done in the past, and how you looking forward? What do you have planned?
Okay, we have in the past we've done a couple of dinners. We've done the auctions at Golden Gavel a couple times, which were very successful. We've done butterfly release, and
what is that? I'm curious.
The butterfly release. Oh, it's really a great experience. You actually purchase live butterflies, and they come in individual little packets, and they're very cold. They're very safe, and they've been fed, and they're taken care of. And what they do is they cool them down so that they don't move. So they go into like hibernation kind of thing. And then we have a ceremony, and we offer people the chance to purchase a butterfly either in memory or in celebration of, and we serve refreshments, and then they each get a butterfly, and you open the little package and off they fly. And it's a really nice experience to see, the butterflies are going all over the place, and the kids are very, very happy. And one year it was still cold when we did it, so the butterflies didn't fly away, but they would stay on the people until they finished warming up. So the kids were so excited because they could really get a good close look at the butterflies. And some people were a little worried about the environmental impact, but these are local butterflies. They're butterflies that live in our area, so they're good for the environment too. So, but it's a really fun celebration, and hopefully we usually did that in June, And hopefully we might be able to do it this year and celebrate the end to all of this.
I know. I think maybe. I think fingers crossed, right? That
Right.
we are at the tail end and we'll be able to get back to a little bit more like what life used to be. So
Right.
besides that, though, I know it is difficult. So if someone's watching, how could they help? I'm sure that there are different needs this year because of COVID. And how if someone wanted to help, what could you do?
Well, personally, I'm looking for people to help with fundraising. The fundraising committee works with the board of directors to help with make sure that we can fund what we've put together for our strategic plan. But I could use somebody who would love to take care of a database of our donors. So we have a mailing we do each year, and we want to stay in contact with our people and let them know what's going on as well. People who are interested in working on, maybe there's somebody out there who likes to write grants. Right. It's a skill that I don't have, and it is a very definite skill. If somebody wants to help with grants, that would be great, or any kind of fundraising. If you have a great fundraising idea that you're willing to help work on, not just hand over, right? We'd be glad to work with you on it. That you could help at the dinners, you could help at the butterfly release. Everything has a lot of moving parts to it that need to be done. We've done gift wrapping at the mall, and who knows what will happen with that going forward. But that takes a lot of volunteers to keep that manned, and certainly was a very good fundraiser for us as well. So there's all kinds of things that people can do. We have communications committees. The fundraising committee, right? Oh, goods and services. That's making sure that we have what the guests need and what they can be given when they come through the warming center. And so that's another thing. So you have to collect as well as sort through and redistribute when sometimes we get things that we can't use. So, but we always are mindful of what we're doing, and we let people know that if we can't use it, it'll go to a good home and help serve another needy person. So those are some of the main ways that people can help.
That's great. Yeah. So what I hear saying too is that there's so many different opportunities that if someone wanted to just do one thing, one project, it's possible to do that, or a longer term, bigger commitment. So I think sometimes people are afraid that once they start, it's, they're so busy in their lives, but you could come and do one fundraiser and help out and then see. So that's really great to know that. So what do you see as the future of the organization? What do you think is coming next?
Well, we would love to have a permanent location, because a permanent location would give us the opportunity to serve the people for a longer term. Now, I don't think we could go to all year long, certainly not in the short run, but we could stay open longer and get people in there before 9 o'clock at night and get people out. They could stay a little later in the morning so that they're more protected during the cold weather months. That would be an ideal situation for us.
Oh, yeah,
that would take a lot of fundraising.
Yes, it would. It would. Yeah. But you know what? It's good to put it out there and say, this is like the goal of the organization. So, if someone's watching right now and they wanted to get in touch and they wanted to find out more about volunteering or about services or something, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can either contact Monica, who is our executive director. She's the person who's actually in charge of the operation of the warming center, making sure the staff is hired and those types of things. Her phone number is 860-970-9065. And should I give her email address out here?
You know what? We can put the email address in the comments. So if people, if you're watching it, or it's hard to follow, we'll put it in the comment.
Right. Or they can call me. And my phone number is 860-749-0931. And I'm very happy to chat with people and let them know what they can do, put them in touch with where they drop off donations, whatever needs they have. We'll be here for you. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming by and talking to me today.
Thank you.
And I hope, it was great. super helpful. And if you're watching and you have an interest in helping with the warming center, reach out. It's a great organization. It's worthy of your time, and it's really important in the community. So thanks
Great.
again, Lorraine. And take
thank
care.
you, Janine.
Next time.
Loved
Bye-bye.
it. Thanks. Bye now.